why did someone pick on that pleasurable activity to say that that was sinful?
What was it that
what
pushed
caused
it? What
and
made
created,
it draw? What drew
yeah.
the attention to that one
and
thing?
created the following to go along with it?
Oh, you can create a following to go along with any bullshit.
Yeah.
You get a good copywriter. Maybe this Tydell, maybe he wrote something that had something
Thou
to do
shalt
with
not
it.
boink.
Yeah.
Leave your cranky horniness at the door. It's time for Carl and Mike.
Welcome, Carl Mike. I'm Carl.
I'm Mike.
And we're here at the Corner Bakery Cafe in beautiful Dallas, Texas.
Just pounding them out, man.
We are. This is why I love Dallas. 80 degrees on a February day, 70s, whatever,
Yeah.
70-something today. Sunshine.
Global warming.
You're a Texan, wasn't it like this when you
And
were
then
a
up
kid?
the Northeast, you're just freezing their asses off.
Yeah.
Another storm coming. Oh, too bad.
This is the time we get to gloat. We
Yeah.
get to gloat. In the
Yeah.
winter, in the summer, not so much.
And then everybody has a bad winter, and they start moving down here.
Right. And then
Yeah.
they get the summer and they want to move
Yeah.
back somewhere. It's all relative, Michael.
Yes,
It's
it
all
is. Relative. Or relatives.
Relatives, yes. That's a whole other story. Where did that word come from, relative?
Related to? Related.
I guess,
Yeah.
Probably. What's been going on?
Well, we haven't talked about sex in a long time. It's probably time.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's time to talk sex. Since we do talk
This
politics.
this is what's interesting. We have the Dallas Convention Center downtown.
Yes, our
Okay.
new Dallas Convention
It's not
Center.
just your Dallas Convention Center. It's named after Kay Bailey Hutchinson.
Is it?
Oh,
I didn't
yes.
realize that.
Oh,
Kay
yes.
Bailey.
Kay
It's the Kay Bailey Hutchinson
She's got her
Convention
name. It's
Center.
the Kay Bailey Hutchinson.
She's a
who's
politician.
an old senator.
Did
Yeah,
she-
senator, real kind of prim and proper.
Yes.
No, they just named it in her honor.
Oh.
I don't think she put any money on it. It was an honorarium kind of thing.
Yes, Kay Bailey Hutchinson
anyway,
Convention Center. Yes.
Part of the deal is because it's a public institution, the convention center, anybody can throw a little convention.
It's a convention center.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, convention center. The Nazis could be there. Ku Klux Klan could be there. Republicans have been there. Not that I'm drawing any kind of comparison here. The Democrats could be there. Anybody could show up.
I don't
Mary Kay Cosmetics does their big deal there. You know,
Right.
So anybody can be there. Well, it turns out that there is a thing called Exotica.
Exotica?
Or erotica. Okay, I think it's Exotica with 3 X's. Exotic. XXX. Okay, so it's adult entertainment. It's fucking porn is what it is.
It's a porn convention.
Yeah, and it's where all the porn people come to, share their sell their wares, and they've got a
Who are
bunch
they
of
selling them to?
they've got a bunch of
the
booths.
public?
Well, the general public of Dallas.
Comes to
They
the
came
erotica?
last year, and
Yeah.
evidently it was fairly successful. And they had a bunch of billboards up around town, saying that this is coming on these days. It's kind of like the gun show.
Right.
So you could do a gun show
So this
there
is like
too.
the big national.
So you can
So
go
you
there.
go and you meet your favorite porn
Right,
star.
and you can go there, and everybody who's got some sort of product to sell buys a booth, and they show and demonstrate their
Or whips
equipment.
and
Right, so
other
you can,
sexual
right.
toys.
So you can go and you can have a gun show there and sell semi-automatic and sniper rifles and silencers and stuff like that. But the city council's having a problem with dildos and vibrators and butt plugs.
They are?
Yeah, I don't know.
So they don't want it there.
No. Well.
Like, what can they do? What are they doing?
Well, here's the deal. You can't do anything. The city attorneys say you can't do anything about it.
Really?
Yeah. Their city attorneys say you can't do anything. But the city council took a vote on it and decided that they didn't want their facility, the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Dallas Convention
Memorial.
Center,
Is she alive
to
still?
host the Exotica. Ooh, you just got to chill. Convention again this year because it's not suitable. So the city council did a vote, 8-7. It's kind of like the way
Party
the Supreme
lines.
Court would
Yeah.
bust up, probably.
Was it 8-7 against?
Yes.
Yeah. So what
So
does that
now they're
mean?
trying to figure out what to do. Well, the city attorneys who are already on the payroll say, no, they've already given them a reading.
They already
saying
told you can't do it.
You can't do that. So now the city's going to have to pay outside attorneys to fight this.
Can't use their own attorneys because their own attorneys are saying there's nothing
attorneys
here.
say, no, we've already.
They're gonna find attorneys
yeah,
that
so they've
say-
got to find attorneys that'll tell them what they want to believe, which can't be that hard. They're attorneys, right?
Yeah.
They're mouthpieces for hire. We'll whatever you want us to do. So anyway, and then I think it was the mayor. It could have been one of the councilmen said,
Nudity
"We
law?
have freedom,
Yeah.
but freedom comes with boundaries." Now think about that statement. Freedom
comes
has boundaries. Three
The
words.
boundaries
That's
of
it.
freedom. Yes.
Yeah. Freedom has boundaries. Whose boundaries? Who sets those boundaries? Are they
Well, the
boundaries
argument would-
way out there?
The
or are they
argument would be
boundaries
you have
close in?
freedom of speech, but you can't yell fire in a theater.
Well, that and you.
I would say you have freedom until the point of hurting somebody else. But I'm sorry, Exotica is not hurting anybody else. You don't have to go to Exotica.
Well, here's the beautiful part. So what's happened is, Exotica is getting all kinds of press now,
Yes. so it's
including
gonna be-
Carl and Mike.
Right.
But Time Magazine and all these other things, these national things are starting to pick up this cat fight that they've got with the city council and a bunch of
does
porn
Dallas
stars
embarrass
pushing their DVDs and then the sex toy stuff. And so they
Is there gonna? Let me clarify. Is there gonna be nudity at the Exotica? Could they?
no, I don't
could
think
they-
no, I don't think there's going
So
to be.
there's not people walking around
well,
naked in the
there will
convention
probably
center.
be some scantily clad individuals.
Yes, but I mean, I'm trying to think. Could they block it on a nudity thing?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Sounds like
you
one
know.
of the city attorneys can't.
Yeah,
block 'em,
no, if
period.
you're selling the DVD, but you're not showing the DVD. So now they're getting all this free publicity. So now another competitor of Exotica, Adult Erotica or some, I don't know what the fuck the
Right.
name is. It's obvious what it is. Has decided that they now want to have a show in
Ah.
Dallas too. So now
So
instead
Dallas
of just
could
letting
become
it
the-
quietly go,
Yes.
they've thrown up this big stink, and
Yes.
now they're going to have to fight. The first one, Exotica, has already said in the paper today, we're not going away quietly. We're a few days away from filing a suit against the city for not allowing us to do what your charter says we can do. And then the other entity is going to probably come and do the same thing. So now all of a
Going to
sudden,
try to run out the city council.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, here's my question for you: Is the erotica thing going down? Is it? Pardon the pun. Is it happening?
the Exotica.
Is it happening?
Well, it did last year, and I guess it was
So it's-
successful enough that they decided that Dallas
But I'm
was a good
saying
market.
they're not. All right, the city council said you can't have it, but they haven't refunded tickets. I mean, are they still going to have? Are they still planning at this moment in time?
I haven't read whether they've signed a contract with them or they've just expressed an interest, said, you got an open time here, we want to plug in, so to speak.
City council doesn't run the convention center, do they?
It's owned by the city. I mean, they have a certain say,
So the city's
a
saying,
certain
"No, we're
say
not
in
gonna
it.
let you-
Yeah,
we're not going to let you book.
it's a city entity, and as that,
Dallas,
it's-
Dallas.
Yeah.
No.
But see, I guess these shows are usually in Los Angeles and Las Vegas, of course, duh.
Yeah.
And I guess Dallas was a good enough location last year. They decided to bring it. So I think
I
there's
think they've
probably
done studies on porn, and do you know porn is most watched in red states?
you know what the state is that's the most?
Utah.
Utah.
There you
Hello.
go. Oh, Marvin.
Hello, Joseph Smith.
So the more red, the higher the porn. It's the devil tempting you, Mike.
Yeah.
Tempting you with the sins of the flesh.
Ooh, sins o' the flesh.
Sins of the flesh.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
think about how many gun shows
what
are
is it
in
that makes
Dallas.
them so uncomfortable about sex and discussing sex? So we had a show about this, right? About
having conversation.
about having a conversation, how you can get uncomfortable doing it. But people, I mean, they get real squeamish.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to share a thought leadership thought on this.
Oh God, okay. Are we going to start a competing porn company that's going to want to do a deal?
No, but
with
maybe
K-Bell?
we should broadcast. We should do a show from. Don't you think? We should
be
be
the best?
Exotica. We need to do Carl and Mike at the Exotica. We're doing it.
Please come
Our first,
talk
our
to us.
first, our first live feed
Remote.
outside of the comforts of the little corner bakery.
Yeah.
We should, don't you think?
Oh, that
If
would
they
be
have
a
it, I
good
think
one.
we need to do it. We get press passes.
That would.
Couldn't we?
Oh, we could say we're part of the press, and we could say, look at our body of work. We have a
Yes.
website. We've done all these. We want to spotlight y'all, and we could get a. Ooh,
Press pass.
I don't
to
want just a press
Erotica.
pass. I want a backstage pass.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I'll bet you want a backstage pass.
Okay, so anyway, you're going to
Backstage
get you.
press pass to Exotica. I'm going to bounce that off with Suzanne, and
Nita,
it's part of the job.
I think it's one of those
part of the job.
beg for forgiveness rather than ask permission
Yeah.
Okay,
Beg
yeah.
for forgetting.
Oh, guess what we did today? It was just we had no idea we were going to
We already talked about it in episode 74.
Yeah.
We had to do it.
Had to do it.
Okay, I'm going to share.
Okay.
This is on a deep shadow subconscious level.
Okay.
I think sex is all about the feminine, power of the feminine.
Okay, explain that.
The act of sex creates. He said,
Yeah, looking
perhaps I said that a
around.
little loud here at the corner bakery. The act of sex creates life, which happens all inside a woman. I think sex in its nature has a feminine power to it. It's power.
Huh. Interesting.
So on a subconscious level, because the more sex is elevated out of the shadows, the more women come along with that. Suppressing sex is really about suppressing women, is my theory.
It is about it, or it has been about it, or people.
I mean, I'm not
use
saying
that.
men are involved, yes, but
Yeah.
I'm saying it's the power of life resides within her. Sex is a pleasure thing that happens.
But not for some people. Some
Well, it
people
should be
it's
if you're
strictly
doing it
it's
right.
strictly about procreation, and that's it. And anything that's about pleasure is about sin. I mean,
Why
there's-
is pleasure
that's-
sin and violence and pain is not?
Well, that gets back to guns. I don't know.
War,
I don't know.
violence, hacking limbs.
I don't know. I don't know why
It's a battle of
certain
pleasure
things.
versus
I
pain.
don't know why certain things are more acceptable to people than not.
I mean, look how many violent horror films, dismemberment,
Yeah.
shoot 'em up.
So if they were going to have a
Quentin
K. Billy
Tarantino.
Hutchins thing about, instead of porn, it was going to be about
Violent-
horror movies
yeah.
and hack 'em
Horror
ups and
things.
zombie films and
Yeah.
stuff like that. They'd be going, cool.
Wouldn't even
bring
be an
it on.
issue. And if it was a gun show, it wouldn't be an
Oh
issue.
no, gun show. They have those all the time there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, in conventions, any place that's got a room big
But
enough.
isn't
that's
that
doing
kind of in the masculine realm, all of that? I mean, 90.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm saying there are women that have guns, but
Yeah, any kind of fighting and guns and stuff has all been masculine. in the past.
violence traditionally has been in the realm of masculine.
Huh? Interesting.
That's my theory.
It could be a good one.
Pleasure. When did that become sinful or become? It should be hidden.
That's
should
a
be not
religi-
seen.
I think it's
It
a religious thing.
It's a religious
It's
thing.
a religious
Why?
thing.
Why pick on that? You could argue if it's a religious thing, and most religions propagate it by you having a lot of children. Why wouldn't sex be just celebrated like crazy so you have a lot of
Well,
children?
they do celebrate. They celebrate the life, not sex as an activity that's fun and enjoyable. They celebrate it as an act that creates life. That's that whole Adam and Eve thing.
Right.
I really think it has a lot to do with religion, because I don't think that the cavemen and primeval goes, oh no, you gotta put
no
this
big-
skin with the hole over it, and then we'll
Yeah.
no, that all happened. That's all.
Shame.
Oh, shame. Or
Religious
yes,
shame.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Religious-based shame. What is it that the religions are hoping to accomplish? And I'm saying all religions
By
are hoping
shaming
by
sex.
shaming sex, and a lot of times it's shaming women.
So I do think there's an element of women on this.
Oh yeah.
I think the quote-unquote perversion is a byproduct of shame. Then you can get off into weird shit. We don't know a society where we don't have it. So
Yeah.
it's like Germany and beer. Kids drink beer at 13. I think there's not an alcohol problem because it's treated like no big deal.
Yeah.
I think it's the treating it, which is what happened here at this thing, treating it as a big deal. Makes
Yeah.
it controversial, makes it more alluring.
And blew it into a whole lot bigger deal. I mean, the company that's coming to town is getting all kinds of free publicity, and it's the further they get down the road on the lawsuit and everything, the more publicity you're going to get, which means more people are going to be paying attention, and more people are going to go, yeah, let's go down there and see what that's all about. And they go down there and they buy a ticket and they see what it's all about, and they come home, and
Maybe
they change their mind, maybe they don't change their mind. I don't know.
Maybe pre-religious shame around sex. Maybe everybody was just boinking like monkeys, not getting anything done, stealing time away from it was either work and sex, and
boinking,
they
or-
there was no time for religion, so they kind of
We're getting the crops out of the fields.
getting the crops out of the fields, and then
I don't know.
were you just boinking in the crops because you had 10 minutes, and it was
Well, somewhere back there,
before religion shamed it. What was it like?
I don't know, but at some point there was a room with a table with some men in. Said, "Okay, we got a problem here."
Somebody,
need to
maybe
come-
there was
and
fight
we
of
need to come-
property. Ooh.
It was what?
Could have been a fight with property. Women were kind of like property. You were boinking her, and if you tried to boink her, now we had a problem.
Well, they were considered chattel.
So you can't be messing with my property. You can't be boinking my
You can't
girlfriend.
be boinking my girlfriend. If you want to boink something, boink the goat over here, but leave the
Right.
girlfriend alone.
Yeah, she's mine. So then maybe that's how this started. Because it was a pleasurable act.
The old folks, the primitives, the cavemen, I mean, what else the hell did they have to do? They didn't have TV or shit.
Yeah.
Long, cold winter nights, they're doing something.
Yeah. You're boinking.
And so, and they don't have their local priest shaming them.
Right.
So they're going, whoa, this is cool. Let's do it again tomorrow night. Okay, cool.
Let's do it again in 30 minutes.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't know. At some point, I don't know. I don't know if there's I wonder.
Somebody needs
That's
to
one of
explain
them.
this
Their
to us.
Google questions.
We got to Google that. Where did sex begin? Well, where did sex begin? We know that.
Yeah.
Where did it get shamed?
Shaming
and
of
what was it like
sex.
before?
Shaming of sex.
I guess it was paganism. Why did someone pick on that pleasurable activity to say that was sinful?
What was it that
what
pushed
caused
it? What
and
made
created,
them draw? What drew
yeah.
the attention to that one thing?
and created the following to go along with it?
Oh, you can create a following to go along with any bullshit.
Yeah.
You get a good copywriter. Maybe this Tydell, maybe he wrote something that had something
Thou
to do with
shalt
it.
not boink.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't know the answer to that. But there had to be a point in time where religion didn't shame sex.
Before religion.
Before religion.
Well,
but
I
then-
think religion, you had to control stuff. You had to control the masses, right? You had to control people. Our religion's better than yours. As soon as you had a religion that popped up, there was going to be and somebody saw a bunch of people going over here, and one individual getting money and obedience. There was a competing religion.
Yeah, someone's going to break out of that group. and
Somebody's
say,
going
"Hey,
to break
I'm
out of
gonna
that
do
group
my
and say, "Go, I can do this better," and they
Yeah.
come over here and start their own deal.
thing." Yeah.
That's how everything starts. And so I don't think it was that much different back then. It was
It
probably
seems like they picked on sex right away, and I'm not sure why. That's why I think it's a woman thing. I think sex, ultimately the power in sex, is with the woman because she's the one who has the baby.
Well, thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not steal. That all has to do with somebody else's stuff,
Yes.
right? You
Covet
stay away
thy
from
wife,
Yeah.
covet thy stuff. There's two
You
covets
stay away
in the
from my
Ten
stuff.
Commandments. I think you're right. I think a wife was a
Stay
stuff.
away from my stuff.
She's actually a precious stuff, probably.
Well, she was the stuff that enabled them to populate the farm to get the stuff out of the fields, right?
Right.
People used to have big families. Farm families had a lot of kids because they
Right.
needed field hands.
But here's about this. Maybe think about it this way. If we got a little free sex pleasure thing here, then you don't know who's the father. So therefore, you don't know who owes the property rights.
Don't know who the
Put
property.
that motherfucker
Right.
on the table here, isn't that
Well, you don't want those crazy genes over here.
right? And
Well, they don't even know
and
that, though.
But whoever's the son, that's
Oh,
responsibility
sons,
and
yeah.
power.
The sons come with power,
And you have the wife
inheritance
having
and
sex
stuff like
with
that.
other men or enjoying
things
sex.
were really fucked up back then.
Yeah,
really
we've
fucked up.
evolved, Mike.
Well, some of us have,
Some of
I
us have.
hope.
There's Ted Cruz. But
yeah.
anyway, but
What,
don't you think that's why the sex got messed up?
it could be.
There's a power thing. There was coveting. There was pleasure. There was sharing it along.
God damn, now I'm going to have to research it.
I'm gonna have to do some research.
Huh. That's the problem with posing these questions where you
And
don't
so
know the
here it
answer
is.
to.
Here's
You gotta-
something so that's in our little lizard brain from way back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's been layered on by society, layered upon, right? Because maybe it started with, she's got to be one woman, one man, so I know who belongs to who on the offspring. It's come all the way. Thousands of years later, we're sitting here in the Dallas City Council.
Yeah.
There's an echo of that.
There is an echo of that. I think there's very much
Because
of
if
an echo of that.
erotica, if that
Yeah.
became popular in society, there'd
Now-
be women having sex with more than one man. You can't have that.
Well, see, why is
See,
that?
there's no problem with men having sex with other.
That's still a my stuff kind of thing.
It
right?
is.
And
Women as
it-
property,
versus
power.
horror films or murder films or weapons of mass destruction. You know, having conventions that have all these guns out there for people to look at and play and get all. I mean, the men and women that go to the gun shows, they pick up these things and they hold them and they finger them and get all juiced up.
Homosexuals, they call them.
So the homosexuals get all juiced up by handling a semi-automatic weapon, just like people might get, juiced up handling a 10-inch jelly dong or something. I don't know. You see what I'm? There's some.
Maybe we should
going
have
on
the
here.
gun show next to the erotica.
Oh, that would.
Have
Ooh.
them switch over. Say, here, put the gun down and try this
Yeah.
double wide dildo.
Oh, just from booth next to booth.
Yeah. Which one do you like best?
Oh.
There you have it. Anyway, that's my philosophy on sex. I think there's something there to the women thing. Women
I think there
can't
could
be moving around from man to man.
Yeah.
Because
have
then you
certain
don't know
areas-
what man owns the child.
But you have things like, and you'd expect this in Las Vegas or Los Angeles and the other places that have these conventions. They go, yeah, those people are in town this week. You know, just go on. It's like Fleet Week.
Right.
The sailors are in town. They're
It's not like
boinking
the
the
city of
horse.
Dallas is required to advertise the thing. They're going to pay for their own advertising.
they're paying for their own damn advertising.
Yeah. And it's not
And
like you go down to city convention going, what's going on today?
Yeah. And
You know what
don't-
I'm saying?
You don't have the porn stars aren't coming in. They're not doing special shows at the elementary schools or something. I mean, come on, people.
It's a convention center. There's no reason to go to a convention center unless you're going to that show.
That people want to control what other people do with their lives.
You want to control women and with an extension men.
Yes.
Because if the men get attracted sexually, then they may start propagating with other women.
Well, there's a bigger shaming thing that goes in with women being part of the porn industry.
You're a whore if
than
you
there
have
are
sex with, you don't have men whores.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing in high school. A girl that's considered promiscuous is considered a whore. A guy that's considered
cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Notch that thing.
See, it's
What-
like the
now,
bees
why
in the
is-
flower,
why
Mike.
is-
It's bees in the
and
flower.
that's still around.
Yeah.
That's still around.
Yeah. Well, it's still
Fair-
around. It's in Dallas City Council right now.
Yeah. Huh.
Good food for thought.
It is.
Well, I
Well-
hope we'll see. We'll keep up on this Exotica and see if it ends up
Yeah.
making it to Dallas, and then maybe we'll have to investigate further, Michael.
So I thought
We'll
we
have to go
needed
in.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and also since we're on the sex thing, read an article in the Huffington Post. It was an article about the 10 best sex toys.
Yeah,
And I'm
which came in number one?
That's it.
HuffPost?
Huffington Post. Huffington
Crazy
Post.
Kids.
Yeah, on my Flipboard feed, I've got a thing that calls Weird News,
Yeah.
and it was in that, but it was a Huffington Post thing.
So did you read what was the top sex toy of the year?
No, they're just different ones that
We'll put a
people
link
might
in our
want.
mighty fine show notes
Oh God.
for the top 10 sex toys of 20. I'm thinking there's got to be some computer stuff involved.
No,
No?
it's just
Just straight butt plugs and dildos. And
butt plugs, dildos.
really, it's already been done,
And
hasn't
not
it?
any blow up dolls or anything like that. No VR.
I'm waiting for the VR
Yeah. It's
robotic.
coming.
That's
It's
when it's
coming.
going to get interesting. Until then, we're in a kind of a dead zone of sex
Yeah.
toys. Really, I'm not up on my sex toys.
No.
Yeah. Well, another episode of Carl Mike in the can. Some people would say it was in the can from the beginning.
Yeah.
But those people are hung up on sex.
Yeah,
Here
just-
at Carl Mike, we're only
It's
semi-hung up on sex.
well, it's just showing what people that have got these real big hang-ups, how they get all emotional and stuff.
I think
about,
it's
and they
good that
just
we
go
have
nuts.
this conversation. I think people don't really try to. It's the first time I've really thought about
Yeah.
in depth. Where the hell did this all come from?
Yeah, I haven't
That's
thought
what we
about
get
that.
here at Carl Mike.
Yeah,
We
you
go
just-
explore the unexplorable.
It's just somebody says, don't talk about sex, don't talk about religion, don't talk
Right.
about politics, and then of course we have to talk about it all.
Then those people need to come to Carl Mike.
That's what the podcast's all about, folks.
That's right. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.
Out.